Likes the choice that he made. No reason not to. He got first. So now we're gonna see a little more purple gameplay on that side, and then actually a deck that I am very interested in seeing how red does in the limited battle format. So I want to see a little more red over the course of this weekend. That's why we're streaming this particular match. So let's see what happens.
So, what are your predictions for this matchup? Red versus purple, Kaido versus Luffy.
We were discussing in this a little bit before going live, and actually, I feel in the obviously in the early game, the red deck should have a decent amount of advantage if it can maintain board state in the early game before the purple deck obviously has the ramp and has the ability to start destroying the red threats. So it'll depend on the early turns for the red player. It looks like he has a decent board right now, but he just lost one of his creatures. So, what do you think about the matchup?
So, this matchup, red in general has always been a type of deck, or at least in this case, where it has to go fast. You have to finish them off fast, win fast. Otherwise, as soon as you run out of steam, you have no backup plan. You can't. It's hard to win off of that because you use up every card in your hand just to attack your opponent's leader.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. So, red is normally typically a color that is good at aggression but lacks card advantage,
Yes.
and so hopefully he'll be able to deal with in his opponent's entire life pool before he runs out of resources. Though, to be honest, it seems that the purple player is pretty comfortable taking hits early on. We'll see if he goes ahead and pressures the tapped card on the red side with his leader and his creatures. Right now, he has a 4,000 attack power creature. I'm assuming that that one, if the leader attack doesn't kill the red player's card, then that one will also go in attacking. It's actually good that the purple player has a little bit of board state in the early game, like he does right now. He has two attackers aside from his leader because that'll help him stay alive. Um, but instead
Oh,
of going into battle with his cards, he's actually opting into using King to destroy the opponent's board, which is kind of an interesting choice.
okay. So it looks like the Luffy player prefers to mitigate as much damage as possible early game here. So he chose to block Sasaki on the 5,000 swing, but then takes the hit from Kaido. Um, but losing Frankie here, one of his stronger power
Mhm.
characters, it puts him in a tougher spot where if he wants to start clearing or if he wants to start doing damage, it gets harder since he's not playing any of the rush characters. He's not playing Sanji. Or is this Sanji coming out now?
Oh, we'll see.
No, it's a Zoro.
Zora, yeah.
So Zoro is a 3 cost. You can play it. If you put a Don under him, he gets plus 1,000 on all turns actually. So on your
It's very,
opponent's turn,
very good,
he's
yes.
yeah. On his opponent's turn, he's actually 6,000. However, because it's only a 3 cost, purple has a lot of outs for 3 cost cards, 3 cost characters such as Who's Who, King, and of course Kaido. They can all KO cards that are 3 costs.
Mhm.
King KOing I believe 4 costs and under.
Yeah, that's right.
Kaido is 6 costs and under. Um, and
I'll
if
be
they
honest.
play the event, I'll be 5 costs under, and of course Susu is 3 costs and under.
Yeah, so it's actually interesting when you consider like what the strategy that the red player can employ in this matchup. He has two options. He can either wait until he has amassed enough dudes in play, maybe four or five, before he chooses a turn to attack with all of them, or he also has the option of just attacking every single opportunity he gets. In this case, he chose to do the latter and not necessarily punished. It was more that the opponent has king to be able to answer with his board, but it it just seems like he never had the right window to be able to go aggressive since he never had control of the board.
Yeah, and there is a second king. That's another character KO'd. No, he's going to attack with Kaido again. It's only 5,000. He chooses to block it. He doesn't do. He doesn't drop a counter. He just blocks it completely.
Mhm. Interesting use of resources from the red side. He's like you mentioned before, he's valuing his life total quite a lot, and I feel like you have to take the early hits in order to get a little bit of fuel. Um,
Yeah, because this is putting him in a very tight spot where if Kaido goes for a big wide swing following turn, that's all his life.
yeah,
And if
it's
he doesn't have the cards to counter, then that's it. And he's already used his blocker as well. And he chooses to counter again.
mhm. No. So it feels like the early game wasn't favorable enough to where he could close out, and now it's just a matter of the two kings in play, taking over the game. It
Yes.
seemed as though even without the field spell, the purple player had an easy time of at least the game one. We'll see how it keeps developing, but
Yeah. And in format where it's just the best of one, as soon as you take control of the board and start KOing characters, your opponent has no way out. They can't. There's no. It isn't like other games where you can do a crazy comeback here. It's
yeah, it
overtime.
seems
Yeah,
a little bit.
it's overtime. Like you have to hit their life once here, once there. You need to be able to do some chip damage. But without those damages, without those rush characters, it's extremely tough for Luffy to do anything here.
Yeah, definitely the rush characters are the ones that the Luffy player wants to be trying to utilize in the later portions of the game, simply because they already get their value in attacking before they get destroyed, and that's definitely what he wants to do with the purple player at, I believe, 2 life left, but he just doesn't have access to those resources right now.
Yeah, I honestly can't tell how many life the Luffy player has either, because it looks like his life is off screen.
Yeah, it should be. From what we've seen so far, it should be 3. But it'll soon be 0, depending on how many attacks the purple player wants to do on the next turn. We don't see any blockers on the red side, but
It also, as you see, the red player is constantly playing Brook. Brook is actually your 2000 counter. Most of the time, you keep it in your hands for the 2000 counter, or the only times you really play it, it's when you can get your rush effects. You need to transfer your used dons onto characters, so then you can rush them down with it.
yeah, so definitely it's looking like he's just a little bit flooded on Brooks and doesn't have other power plays that he can use. They all got killed by Kings, of
Yeah.
course. So he's just working with what he has right now. It's looking a bit grim, but let's see how many attacks he can pull off this turn in particular. Though the purple player's hand seems a little healthy, so we'll see what can happen.
All right.
And then
Let's
I believe
see.
the card's name is Jinbe. He's attacking in right now. I think he's 7,000 at the moment.
Unless he boosted himself, he is 7,000. He does have an effect to boost himself or another character, I believe. Or
Is
does
it?
it say other character?
We'll see. Oh, so I guess it didn't matter because it the pro player has taken every single swing so far. He does have a lot of combo power in his hand, I'm assuming, but it's getting a little dangerous here from how it looked before.
So
So
from the looks of it, looks like our purple player has enough counters
yeah,
to handle it.
and
They
there we go.
also there's the
He
power.
he he went ahead and revealed 3 blocks there. Like we assumed he had a lot of blocking power. That was one of the only outs that the red player had left, assuming that the purple player had a bunch of cards with no defensive value in his hand, but it did not seem to be the case.
All right, he's going for damage. Oh, that was his last life. He's already taking multiple hits. I I did not realize. Like I can't see the life.
So it
Oh
seems,
no, he has more life. All right, he's chucking. He's removing 7 dons, so
yeah,
then he to burn his life. Now he's attacking for 7,000 with Kaido. does he have enough counters? It looks like there's only two cards in hand.
Yeah, and I think that'll be yeah. He's picking up his
That'll be
cards. He
key.
attacks with both his kings, and neither of them could be defended. So that'll be GG to the side of the purple player.
And that's it. Kaido takes the win here. To be honest, it's within expectations. Uh,
I'm wondering, like you said before, I wonder if he keeps the red player keeps his brooks in his hand because you saw how he lost with two of them in play, never being able to attack. So I wonder if utilizing them more for their block would have been beneficial for him.
yes, I believe keeping those brooks in hand would have been a lot more beneficial. You have them for counters. The only really time, like I said earlier, you want to use your brooks is if you need to move your used dawns onto another character so you can get their effects going. But in this case, it's not really helping.